Welcome to this Haunting in Venice ending explained. While I didn't enjoy Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile was beyond atrocious, I did find some joy in this movie despite some bad editing, ham-fisted jump scares and attempt to make this a spoopy season flick. I found Tina Fey and Kenneth Branagh's chemistry very, very good, and a lot of the performances were very, very good in my opinion, and I was lost in those, but then I was taken out of it by some very, very bad attempt at horror. Poirot has lost his faith and is living in Venice in 1947 as he has a bodyguard, which is more to stop potential petitioners for help for their own cases. But as we saw, our boy Hercule gets his groove back just like Stella and wants to help once more. In his self-imposed exile, his friend and novelist Adriane Oliver, probably butchered that name there, played brilliantly by Tina Fey, arrives and urges him to get out of his funk by going to a Halloween party. However, this was all simply a ruse, as she has written many best-selling books, but her last three have been called Small Beer. She needed a certified banger, and she worked with his bodyguard, to secretly create a creepy seance filled with spoops on Halloween that would confuse him, and making this a case that would finally stump the legendary character which she had inserted into her stories as a thinly veiled insert, and needed something unexpected. She planned to invite him to this seance in a palazzo in Venice, which is haunted. The seance was so her mother, Rowena Drake, could speak to her daughter one last time. Her daughter was thought to have jumped out of a window after confessing she had seen ghosts and heard voices after her fiancé had left her because she wasn't as rich as she had expected. The palazzo owned by Drake has been thought for many years to be haunted by the ghosts of children left to die in the plague, and they want to get revenge on doctors. In reality, Rowena Drake's daughter's fiancé left her due to her mother being overbearing. She stopped her daughter from reconciling with him by forming a sort of Munchausen's. She poisoned her by planting hallucinogenic plants which would then create hallucinogenic honey, which can cause death. The voices and haunting was all in her daughter's head due to the hallucinations from the tea that have this honey in it. The housekeeper by mistake fed the daughter after a really tough session of hallucinogens there it caused an OD. Rowena, finding her daughter, decided to mark her with the fictional mark of the ghost children, throwing her in the canal, leading it to thought to be a suicide, and maybe the haunting was real. However, the family's doctor's son worked out what happened and tested his theory after looking at his father's notes, and blackmailed her. This was proven to be true, as Rowena was sending the money to him, and he used it to pay for their bills because his father had PTSD from the war. Except it led to her suspecting the family doctor father, or a renowned world medium, who in her paranoia thought that she knew too much. Rowena then attempted to kill the medium after she did actually try and drown the detective by accident, and then also convinced the doctor to kill himself, or she'd kill his son to remove him as a suspect of the blackmail. Now, the world-renowned detective worked all this out after interviewing everyone. The ex-fiancé had turned up and was invited by Adriana to Cool's drama, but he revealed that the garden was ransacked and the honey found in the pantry wasn't the wildflower he was used to, which he was confused and then didn't think any of it. And, the honey was mentioned quite a few times. The flowers were replaced and she let them die as cover, and it was clear the haunting was hallucinations after all, and the mother was behind it all, as he worked out that the plants were hallucinogens and he had also had the same honey. Predictably, she tries to run, trying to trap everyone in the storm, but our boy experiences one last hallucination, seeing the mother appear to be dragged by her daughter, but in reality she just tripped there in the heavy rain and fell into the canal. But it seemed like poetic justice, matching the theme of haunting by the kids wanting revenge, as our boy questions his faith once more, but he's got his groove back and wants to help people once more. So that's it. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.